Well, hello there, human species, earthlings, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it. So I'm Bushka on Blitz. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be having a look at one of my very, very favourite tanks in the entire universe. This is the T62A. I'm still smitten with this vehicle, which is kind of funky because back in the day, this is the tank that Maxi thought was the best, and I thought the Object 140 was the best. And I loved the T62A. It was the first medium tank that I ever got a hold of. But at the same time, I was crap in it. I'm still pretty crap in it. I do all right, but I like to play it really, really aggressively when I'm running on the contributor account. And I decided to try something a little bit different. I went back to a loadout that I've championed before, which I think is still a really viable loadout and an interesting loadout. Tier 10 being so heavily dominated by big, high caliber guns has quite often turned the game into a little bit of a negative situation for tanks like the T62A. And what I like to do in this tank is basically accentuate the crazy good stats that the T62A has by running a really bizarre combat power loadout. Now I run calibrated shells. I then run the supercharge, which is plus 30% to shell velocity and minus 50% to penetration decrease with distance. And I run the refined gun to give it a .244 dispersion gun with 257 millimeters of APCR pen and 330 millimeters of heat pen. And you might say, but you sacrificed so much for that, Bushka. Surely your aim time must be crap. And yeah, it is. It's really crap. My aim time with that is 2.6 seconds, which is exactly the same as the Object 140 running a vertical stabilizer and an enhanced gun lane drive. So you get an idea that the aim time on this thing is so broken it doesn't make any difference. In fact, you don't know. Look at the reticle. I'm driving along. Look how big the reticle is. It's nuts. I mean, the gun is just insane, right? It's absolutely mental. So what I decided to do was run this again because, you know what, I don't need much of an excuse to run the T62A. I find this tank an absolute joy to drive still. It's thrilling for me to run this vehicle. I find it to be one of the most enjoyable tanks I've ever driven simply because it's got so much of what I adore in a tank. It's got speed, agility, and it's got a gun that is just sublime. It didn't always have this gun. For some reason, they kept buffing and buffing and buffing this gun until now it's quite literally the gun I'm running right now, the dispersion on it, it's the best you're going to get at tier 10, which is saying a lot. Good cup of tea, doesn't go astray. The 62A retains a lot of the value too. Even running this crazy kind of loadout, you still get a whopping 11.44 rounds a minute. Sorry, what am I thinking of? That's the Object 140 that gets 11.44 rounds a second. Yeah, that sounds exactly like it used to get before we nerfed it with the change in the loadout. It gets 10.78 rounds a minute, which is 3,341 DPM. That's still more than most of the tier 10 mediums that it comes up against. And it's got a much better gun and much better penetration numbers. And it doesn't suffer the loss of penetration over distance that a lot of the other guns have. And this nullifies the big weakness of this tank, which is its average penetration. And because it doesn't have a lot of gun depression, you've got to work hard for those shots. Now, what I wanted to do when I changed up the way I'm playing the tank was to be a little bit more passive and just see if I could have some fun, you know. Well, be aggressive in a way. Be aggressive on the medium flank and then win that engagement and basically try and farm the heavies. And it didn't always work, in fact, but it was a lot of fun to do it. And it gave me some of these lovely situations where I'm just sitting here with this incredible gun, shooting people in the side of the turret and having a great time. And if you haven't tried doing that, you should, because shooting people on the side of a turret is a great thing to do. It's a lot better than trying to shoot them at the front of the turret while they're shooting you as well. That's just a spam shot, I think, from that. I don't know where that came from. That might have been the 183 firing Hesh. Didn't feel like Hesh. It's probably AMX, the AMX, that'd be what it was. Now, the T62A also has like an off-the-charts good camo rating for a tier 10 medium. And I did toy with the idea of running a camo net. And I may actually run a camo net on this just for the sake of seeing how it goes. Because It's such a bizarro kind of loadout. I've not done this really on any other tank at tier 10. And the real key indicator here is that your aim time is so good, it allows you to do these things. If it wasn't for that aim time being so obscenely high, you couldn't play the tank like this. Now the dispersion is nuts. Like the dispersion should not be anywhere near where it's at. And we're just farming here. We could have got a lot more if we had got off our ass and actually gone over there. But we didn't. I mean, when you aim this thing in, look at this dispersion. 250 meters, no problems. Absolutely no problems. Right through the top hatch. All you got to do is aim. I know a lot of people will kick and scream about this. And I've had conversations with people who are, you know, probably better players than I am, who think that this is a nutso loadout to run. But I love it. I absolutely adore it. And for those who say that it's too passive, well, I'm not passive in these. You can see I'm moving to the flank and I'm doing the business. And then if I get shots back, well, I'll take them. You know, there's nothing wrong with winning that engagement on the flank. I don't just go and sit there behind everyone else. I make sure that I'm part of the push to get things done. Now, I don't really subscribe to the idea that once you've done that, you've got to go racing across the map. Unless you don't have shots, there's no reason to move. You're a T62A. This is currently a meta where we have an obscenely large amount of TDs. Have a look at this game. Look at the TDs on both sides. There's a 183, a Jaegeru, and a Waffle Tractor over on the right. And there is a 263, a T30, and a Jaegeru on the left. That is such a massive amount of firepower. I mean, we're not mucking around here. This is the kind of game where if you come out sideways, you can get hit by a Jaegeru for 800 and a 183 at the same time, and they will take all your hit points. That will literally, there is every conceivable, you can hit the side of a 62A with Hesh and do 1300 damage, no problems. A Jaegeru and a 183 rolling high could both roll high with AP and they would clear you. You would get cleared in one shot. Think about that. This is a tier 10 tank and there are 2 tanks on the enemy team who could conceivably take half my hit point pool at one shot. Watch this though. The reason I really put this game in here is for this. Now I had better damage games, but look at this gun finding the holes under this railway line. I mean, come on, it's just superb. We just hit the railway line there because we're actually driving forward. I've got to turn auto aim off. That's a big issue here. Once I turn off auto aim, we'll be a lot better off. Well, maybe we won't turn auto aim off. Maybe we'll just keep firing between the tracks of that train. Like this poor Leopard PT. Look at this thing. Look at the gun. It is absolutely nuts. I mean, look at the holes that it's shooting through. There's not many guns in the game that can do this. 0.244 dispersion, ladies and gents. 0.244 dispersion. To give you some kind of indicator, a Leopard 1, which everyone knows is a crazy good gun in terms of accuracy, 0.275 dispersion. So you've got a gun in the T62A's gun. This is madness. That is like 10% better than the Leopard 1's gun in terms of accuracy. And it's got a better aim time. What do you think of them apples? Hey? What do you think of them apples? I mean, it's nuts. It's insane. It's absolutely mad. And it's fun to play. And we lose this game. But I really wanted to play this game to show you those shots of the 62A threading the needle through that area down there. Now, this is the big problem with the 62A, obviously, is there's that Leopard PTA. He's like, screw you, buddy. I'm going to go over there. He's desperate to shoot me, man. That PTA is absolutely desperate to shoot me. If you also note, I'm playing on the North American server. You can't see my ping. There is something wrong with the Asia server at the moment. It's broken. The pipeline is broken, and I'm getting really massive lag spikes, and it's just about unplayable. So I'm playing this on North America at 250 ping, and it does become apparent a couple of the things that happen. It's very, very chunky if you're trying to COD people and all that kind of stuff. I'll show you one more game after this. This is a nightmare. The IS-4, I mean, we get the shot in there, but we've already lost a fair bit of hit points, and I don't know where that went. Probably should have aimed in. Would have been a lot better off. And that one was just a bad shot. And yeah, you get that on the big jobs. Got the last one, but deserved to die there. I really need... That wasn't lag, that one. That was just me. Aim harder. Having a cup of tea. Love a cup of tea, boys and girls. Love a cup of tea. Let's have a look at the last game here in the sequence. 3,855 damage. Again, decent damage. Like it does nice damage. I didn't play a lot of games now. This again, a lot of medium tanks. 3 medium tanks on the left. And I'm saying g'day to the people who said, oh, hi Bushka, g'day, how you going? All that kind of thing. I get recognised a lot more on the NA server, but this is actually a game from the Asia server where the ping is nightmarish. And I don't think that the tank loses an awful lot in the DPM stakes. There are moments here where I wish I had more DPM, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with the way things are shaped with this loadout. And this is really, you can see both the T54 and myself. I decide just to fire heat and just go straight through the cheeks because I got 330mm a pen. And I do turn off auto aim. Auto aim got synced back to the old auto aim here. It's really frustrating. For some reason, the client kept turning replays off and it kept putting auto aim back to the old auto aim. And it really screwed me up. I was trying to move it away. So I end up turning auto aim off here. This is actually something that a lot of people have talked to me about. You can see it moving there off the target. It's so frustrating. Really check your clients. If you're wondering why the reticle's doing some weird things, it may well be that your auto aim type has reset for some reason. This has been a really weird patch for odd bugs like that. But I'm going to show you this game in particular because I thought it was a good example of how, although the tank has certainly changed, the advantage on pen there is massive. You get 10% benefit to your heat rounds. That auto aim is just a nightmare. There we go. You can still put out really, really good damage in this tank, regardless of where the you know, the equipment is set up at. You can really still do the damage. It's also very, very mobile. And you're going to see there's a STB1 here. We're going to drop the hammer on the adrenaline. Just clear one of these tanks to be good. Going to ram the T54 and then turn hard into the STB1 and just basically out DPM him as adrenaline's rolling. Excellent stuff. And then I'm going to get pushed on by these guys up here. Obviously, they're going to push. It's 2 blokes left, and there's 4 of them. And they're going to clear him, and it's going to be 1-on-4. And, yeah, I think the tank has shown there that it can still win those one-on-one engagements with other mediums, despite the fact that it doesn't have everything that you'd expect. It's still got this fantastic mobility, and it's still got a big-ass HE round to belt grills with. And I just 458, 496. Poor old grill. He wouldn't be happy with that. 418. You don't push on a Russian medium alone as a German drill. And we're going to juke out this bloke here. Oh, lovely. 2 tanks left. Surely we can't clear this chieftain. No, we can't. We absolutely can't. 4,700 damage. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one. I just wanted to highlight one of my favourite tanks in the world and why I play it a little bit different to everyone else. Look after yourselves and stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.